All right, testing, 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 testing. 1, 2. Okay, I hope everyone is online. Okay, just let me pop out the chat so I can read everybody's messages. Hold on a sec. Hey, hello everybody. All right. Hi Faiz. Hi Izzat, Arif, Maisara, Mujahid, Ashikid, Izzatul. Who's kucing chomel, by the way? Oh my god. How do cats use what you call this? How do cats go online and join a class? That's unique. Hi Maisara. Izzat, you're cute. What? Boy, Izzat tak comel. Irfan, Arif, Nasia. Hi, everybody. Okay, welcome and thank you for making it. All right. I actually I got mixed up between all my classes and schedules because Oh, by the way, a little bit of a PSA here. If you guys are not feeling well in any way, get enough rest and do check with the doctor. All right, do check with a good doctor. Health is always important. Yeah, my leg is not my leg is not really that good these days. I don't know whether you noticed the way I walk lately is a bit. Oh, by the way, you may notice I'm using a dual camera setup. So I have one camera for my hand. Yeah, this is my table. You can say hello to all those beautiful figurines there. Hello, they say hello to you guys. Okay, never mind. So let's see, because I don't have a whiteboard at home. So what I'm gonna do is that what you call this? When I need to like write out certain things, I have my test pad here, and I'll like write it out. And I think this is super clear for you guys, right? You can see me like writing here, all right? And then whenever I need to like, for example, type things out or maybe show documents, I can actually. Okay, where's my software? Hold on. By the way, you guys should, you guys should actually consider learning how to do this because this is a very useful skill that employers, would really appreciate. Actually, it's a really cool. Best near the figures. Oh, you want to have a look at them? Yeah, there are quite a lot of them there. Yeah, Yoshi says hi, Mario says hi, and all that. But never mind. Why am I showing that? All right. So yeah, this will be on. I will keep this video on the channel so you guys can rewatch it, for future reference. I don't believe in the concept of kedekut ilmu and all that because all knowledge comes from God. Before that, I'm doing a mic check here. Is my microphone loud and clear? What's on the news today? Yeah, what's on the news today, Zakirin? Okay, hold on. Window capture, and then what we're going to learn today. Yeah, that's the thing. I asked you guys to actually read up on chapter 5, and I wanted to do an activity in class. But, I guess, things happen, and I need to like take care of my health as well. But we all know that replacing classes can be very hard, because of all the conflicting schedules, with all the the venues needing to be booked really really, what you call this, venues need to be booked in advance, and it's quite a hassle. So I think online is actually really good. It actually is very useful, and you can actually see my YouTube for like the past examples. So whenever I need to like show a typed document, I actually have this thing over here which I can just simply, what do you call this, what happened, basically, my leg isn't that well and a lot of other stuff. So I need time for recovery, but classes are classes. I can't miss them. And you guys also have an assignment to do, and then a quiz coming on 8th of April. Okay, yeah, I do realize that the internet in URA can be slow at times. I'm not sure if you guys know there are some locations that actually have faster internet than others. The reason why I'm doing the class on YouTube and not Twitch, by the way, is because the way YouTube works, if you guys have slow internet, YouTube adapts to that very, very well. Unlike, for example, Twitch. Twitch requires good internet just to really enjoy it, all right? Okay, anyway, let's see who else is not here tonight. I can actually check your attendance right now. Anybody sharing devices right now? Because let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Hey, this is half of the class. Anybody testing, anybody sharing devices? Because right now we only have half the class. So I will not start until most of you guys are here. All right. Okay, while we wait for the rest of the class, do you guys have any questions about any chapter so far, or anything about the assignment, like, or anything you want to ask about the library session the other day? And yeah, I'm streaming live from my room. It's never mind. Hey, who else is online there? Huh, really annoying? What's really annoying there? Or the internet, I guess. Oh, you're watching with Fahmi. All right. Japu. Okay. So are you guys like watching from your mahala or watching from the student center, or where are you guys right now? From the surau or laundry room, or where are you guys right now? Because one cool thing about online classes is you can be so relaxed. You don't really have to dress up and stuff. So it's very, very nice. And yeah, feel free. Masjid. Wow, masjid is a very nice place to be. I hope you're doing the right thing there. Okay, who else? Toilet? Seriously, is it comfortable? I don't want my students to drop their phones in the toilet bowl, because that actually happened last time. And it was kind of embarrassing. So I hope that didn't happen. Okay, I see more people online. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, in case you're wondering, okay, let me hide this window first, by the way. So yeah, just to show, I can actually check who is online right now and who's active. So you might want to be online as soon as possible. And do let me know who is sharing devices. Yeah, okay, I can check. It's very easy to check in my software. And yeah, this is my software to record and stream. And then on my other monitor is, if I need to show stuff. But technology is really useful. So I don't have to be there to do class. Great. Daniel's on the way from where? Wait, Ashraf Daniel or Daniel? I know there are two Daniels in class, right? All right. So let's see. Let me get through the book as well. Aloha. Oh, aloha. Wow, are you from Hawaii right now, Ashraf? Okay. So let's see. By the way, we are currently in week 6 or week 7, guys. I just need to check. I get confused with UIA's calendar. That especially with all the meetings and all the preparations for next semester, where all the stuff are currently doing. So I kind of lose track of the weeks. We're in week 7 now, right? Okay, I need to just check how much time I need for the remaining chapters. Ooh, quite a lot actually. All right, all right, all right. So maybe I can talk about. Okay, I'm gonna reorder the chapters a bit, because there are some things which are easier face to face with a board, and there's some things easier online, right? So okay, first of all, I'm gonna answer Fawas. Okay, Fawas. Okay, chapter 4, we have covered it. I would say we have kind of scratched the surface of chapter 4. Okay, we already covered the whole topic sentence exercise. I'm not sure, did I cover with you guys or the other section about supporting sentence? Supporting sentence is basically not the main topic sentence, and it's basically sentences where you normally, like, how do I say this? You, what you call that? What do you call that thing again? Basically, the facts, the figures, the examples, the citations, those will normally be supporting sentences, all right? And then concluding sentence, that's too obvious. It's a conclusion, all right? In case you notice, chapter 4 is like a ridiculously short chapter. And it's really not that difficult. It's very easy, actually, so don't worry too much about it, all right? And then we have chapter 5. Okay, chapter 5 I haven't taught in class yet because that's the chapter where I want to do an activity with you guys. So the activity for chapter 5 is basically where I think I've divided you guys already, right? Where, for example, like the front group will take 5.1 to 5.4, and then there's another group doing 5.5, 5.6. Did I give that to you guys yet? Have I divided you to? Yes, right, Afifa? Yeah, I've done that. So when we return from the break, we will be doing chapter 5 together because that's the one chapter where I need everybody discussing and giving examples. What joke did Zakirin make, by the way? So in a sense, you have additional time to read up for chapter 5. Chapter 5 is pretty much something that needs to come from you, the examples, all right? Oh, and don't forget, even though this is not in the textbook directly, because we actually hope for the library to teach you guys, do remember every single skill that has been covered in the library, because the library skill session is important. Parts of it will be tested in your upcoming quiz and even the test. So make sure you know your stuff over there, right? Okay, let me see. So we are going to do. This is gonna be a bit ambitious because online, depending on the subject, some parts are easier to do, some parts are harder to do. All right, we are gonna do elements of chapter 6. I'm going to do half of chapter 6 online and the other half in class. And then I will start a bit of chapter 7. Now, that might sound a bit scary, like, oh my god, so starting chapter 7 already. But to be honest, um, research and academic writing in general. If you ever read any of the books in the library about this subject, you'll notice that every book has a different arrangement of the topics. Because to be honest, this is not the kind of subject where every chapter can be done separately. Actually, every chapter has to be learned together. All right. So if I start chapter 7 a little bit earlier, what will happen is that it will actually help you understand articles way easier than ever, which I think is a skill that all of you guys need. Because I do realize maybe by now, oh, by the way, I didn't reply somebody's message from your section or the other section. I really am getting mixed up now. I've been getting a lot of questions about articles. So, what does this article mean and all that, all right? So, yeah. So, the plan today, I'll be covering parts of chapter 6, the important parts, because chapter 6 is very detail heavy, right? And it's mostly just like a touch and go chapter. Chapter 7 is the important one that actually helps for your assignment, so I don't mind. I hope the internet connection is fine, and if at any time something is wrong with the screen or if my voice is dropping out or whatever, do let me know. Is the volume of my voice good enough or do I need to increase it for you guys? Do let me know, yeah? Okay, sir tanya dah divide group belum to chapter 5? Jawapan dia yes. Oh, I've divided. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Afifa. That's a great help. All right, so are you guys ready? Okay, I'm gonna start by, hold on a sec. Okay, I'm gonna share something that my colleague from the other department actually shared with me. And I feel this is very important because for this first part I'm gonna cover today, there are actually errors in the textbook, okay? Where were we? Let me see. Textbook. Yeah, I have two screens going on here, which is kind of crazy. So let me see. Wait. Where is the? I have too many files going on here. Just give me a second. Writing skills for lecturers group. There you are. Okay. Now, last time, confidential. Oh my god, your eyes are too sharp. Shush. Oh my god. Oi, oi, focus on the lesson. Oi. Okay. Never mind, never mind, never mind. Oi. Hey, okay. Alright. So what I want to say is that, oh my god, I need to delete that first part of the stream. Oh my god. Okay, never mind. Your luck. All right. So, we are covering the seventh edition of APA. APA has actually changed its format as far as the whole world is concerned, right? So there are actually errors in the book. All right, there are some very, very major errors in the book regarding how to do APA citation. So one thing that I want to like share. Oh my god, everybody's doing the emoji. Oh my god, you guys want to tease me in class, right? She's Korani. But that's what makes classes fun. Okay, I should really put my secondary webcam away. All right, so I'm gonna share this one. How do I off this thing? Okay, whatever. Okay, I'm gonna like share this one website with you guys. I'm not sure if I shared it before. No, not this one. AP. Because now apparently everybody is really, really what you call this, paying attention to the new changes in APA. All right. Last time the older batches they learned a completely different version of it. So I want you guys to look at this link maybe like after this online class. And there you go. So I posted a link there in the chat. So these are some of the changes done in APA style, all right? So what I want you guys to do, because the book actually has quite a number of errors when it comes to APA. Okay, because this one was done based on the sixth edition and with some elements of the fifth edition, weirdly enough, as well. All right. So wait, I have the list of corrections in my computer right now, so I want to show this to you guys. Where is the okay? Have you guys opened the link yet? By the way, let's plan. Okay, where are the edits for the book? Okay. So here are the major errors in the book here. So I want you guys, if you have the book in your hands right now, go to table 6.7 on page 79. Okay, so first of all, one of the major differences in the seventh edition right now. Okay, last time, if you're listing the references in the reference part of your assignment at the very back, if let's say the article is written by more than three writers, you will write, okay, I'm talking about page 79, table 6.7, right? I want you guys to look at which example is the best. Table 6.7, hold on. Yeah, I want you to look at the example on page, not table 6.7, page 79 and page 80. Okay, where's the error? Hold on. All right, the main error, the more glaring one is actually on page 80. Sorry about that. Okay, look at the part with journal article with 6 or more authors and journal article with 8 or more authors, all right? So what I want you guys to actually look here, okay, on the left column is how you cite the authors when you are writing your assignment. For example, according to AMSL, because there are so many names at all right? and then because there's so many names according to Chris et al. But then in the old format, when you are listing the references, listing, not citing. Remember, there's a difference between citing and listing. When you are listing the references, you list out all the names. That is for the 6th edition. However, in the 7th edition, you just put 3 names, only the first 3 authors, and then et al. That is if you're listing out. Okay, I'll give an example. Okay, I'll see the names we have here, right? So let's say Fawaz, Mujahid, and Irfan, and the rest of the guys wrote a book together. But let's say Mujahid, Fawaz, and Irfan are the leaders, okay? So you're going to list out like this. Irfan, no, Irfan's father. So, I don't know Irfan's full name, so I'll assume over here. Fahmi, I'm typing this in chat, by the way. So Mazlan M and Iqbal. Hey, yeah, okay, that's my wife there, by the way. Hey, Nawal. All right. Well, F, and then now last time, okay, if you have a lot of authors for a book or a journal, you list out all the names in the reference section. But now you just add all them and then do that, and then there's patterns in male student behavior, journal of blah blah studies. Right. So this is what I'm doing there, right? So look at what I typed there. So right now, instead of writing all 6 authors' name, you only write the first 3 and then et al. Because apparently, I believe that APA is trying to like discourage, having too many authors. Because honestly, if there are like 10 people writing a 10-page article, don't tell me one person just wrote 1 page, you know? So yeah, that's one thing, all right? You do understand what I'm saying, right? Did you guys follow me here? Because I know this chapter is easier done than said. People usually say easier said than done. This is actually easier done than said. It's very hard to say this chapter out and teach this chapter, but doing it is way easier. You do understand? Okay, when I test you guys later, I'll see if you can do it. All right. Okay, and then I want you to look at page 98. There's another error in the book. This comes from the guy who made the book. Yeah, only for 3 and above. That's if you're listing it. But when you are citing the article, let's say you want to write the article, you will say this: according to Fahmi et al. 2020, blah, blah, blah. So I typed this part here there. But even though there are 6 authors, when you are mentioning it in the paragraph itself, you only mention one name and then et al. In the reference, 3 names and then et al. All right. This is one of the very confusing parts about APA, the new format, which some scholars are like, "What is this?" Oh, Fawaz, what is the? Oh my God, what happened? Okay. And then back to page 98. Okay, on page 98, the error is that the word chapter 8 is not written at the top. This is, by the way, from the guy who edited the book. So he asked me to actually correct the error for you guys and mention it in class. All right. So far, do you guys follow me? Just ignore that. Why? What's the oh my God Fawaz? Please tell me. Now, I also believe that I actually what you call this? I've actually kind of mentioned chapter 6 in class, like on the spot somehow, because chapter 6 honestly is a very, very, this is how you cite people, this is how you refer to people, this is how you do a reference list. It's more like, just practicing and knowing the rules, and the list of the rules are in the book, all right? So dalam link tu ada DOI. All right, a DOI stands for, hold on. Let me get the right definition for DOI. It stands for, it stands for something. It stands for digital object identifier. That's what DOI stands for. So it's basically like a URL, but for journals, a special URL. And this URL is only usable and detectable by a university Wi-Fi. Otherwise, you need to pay for the article. All right. So usually I would say even among journal articles, you have like the upper class ones and the middle class articles and like not so good articles. The really good articles have a DOI. Okay. So if, for example, you found an article and it has a DOI, then you have to list the DOI in the references. That's it. And you have to know where to put the DOI in the references. But not all journal articles have a DOI number. But that's about it. It's nothing much actually, right? So DOI is basically a URL, a universal URL of sorts for journal articles. And yeah, that's actually chapter 6. Chapter 6 is just basically how do you cite someone and how do you list out the references, which actually I have somehow done in class while covering, what chapter was that? I don't know how, but I think I somehow covered it very fast, all right? Now, anything you want me to re-explain? Because chapter 4, 5, 6 are actually the fast chapters. They're just mostly exercises and discussions, not an actual theoretical chapter to teach per se. What I really want to cover today, however, is chapter 7, which I think is a very interesting chapter. It needs a long time, but there's a lot of explanation and it will actually help you understand the syllabus very, 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 very well, all right? So, okay, let's talk about Linjasa kasih love. Okay. All right, yeah. I didn't open the link yet. That's actually the link given by the department staff. So the DOI is basically the international digital object identifier. All right. Okay. Now we're going to talk about chapter 7, and I like to reorder the sub chapters so it's easy to understand. We're going to be talking about 7.4 first. Because if you notice, 7.1 and 7.2 is both basically a repetition of what has been done in chapter 1, which I don't know why they repeat it in the book. So we start with 7.4 first, okay? And in the world of research, okay, now I'm gonna like use my, okay, by the way, it's quite windy here. Okay, in research, there are two terms that you can't really run away from, all right? You will come across these terms in some articles. And while people write about articles or when people write about their research, they will often discuss these two things. Okay. You have the concept of, let me see if this is bright enough for you guys. Hold on. Okay, you have reliability. Is that clear, guys? And validity. Is it clear? I think my camera is not focusing well on it. It's like, does he need my spectacles for that? Okay, it doesn't make a difference. All right, maybe I should just type it out for you guys. Yeah, I'll type it out. So there are two concepts, all right? You have the, oh God, validity and reliability. Now, let me ask you guys before I explain what they are. What do you think is validity and what do you think is reliability? Any volunteers? Oh, what did I do? Hold on a sec. Where did I hide my face all of a sudden? Wait. There. Okay. So guys, what do you guys think is validity and what do you guys think is reliability? All right, there. It's nice. Come on, try, guys. Or I can call anyone who's online right now. Hey, where's everyone? Okay, what do you mean by the quality of being logically or factually sound? That's about what? That's about reliability or validity? In simple English for us, in very simple English. For validity, all right, then what is. All right, so how can you tell that okay, if I were to say, all right, for example, let's say Arif, okay, let's say Arif did a research and his research was found to be reliable. What is the meaning of reliable in that situation? Validity is, yes, yeah, that's in Malay. That's a very good one there, Aiman. So validity is kesahihan, reliable, boleh diharap. That is very, very true. Validity is time. What do you mean by time? Hmm. Message retracted. Oh, boleh tarik balik Trusted research based on truth. Okay, Nasiha, your point is about validity or reliability? Okay, reliability can rely on. Okay, but what is reliability? You don't know? All right, now I'll explain, all right? Now, what makes it a bit confusing is that validity, and let me make this bigger for you guys, by the way. That's big enough, right? Okay, reliability and validity are interrelated. They do somehow affect each other, all right? And they do have a relation to the truth value and the quality of a research. But they are two very different things, in fact. And here's the very unique thing about research. Sometimes you can get something that is invalid while still being reliable, and you can be completely reliable but be, completely invalid, all right? I'll give an example, all right, to show the difference between validity and reliability. Now, validity is how correct something is, or in Malay, kesahihan. That's actually a very good word to explain validity, kesahihan. That's a Malay word. Whereas reliability is how consistent something is. Okay, thanks Ashikin for the explanation there. Research is stable, consistent, dependable. I'll give a very, very good example, all right? Now, let's say, for example, okay, give me a random name. Okay, let's say, for example, let's say Kuching Chomel, because I don't know what your real name is, right? So I'm not kutuking you in any way. So let's say Kuching Chomel, you know, he or she really wants to do well for the exam, all right? So he studies 5 times a day. After every prayer, he or she is really consistent. Lepas solat, terus study. So there is some reliability in his technique because he is very consistent. But his or her technique is not valid because he's reading the wrong chapter every time. Like the test is about chapter 4 and he went and read chapter 8, for example. So that's an example where you have a very reliable technique. You study all the time, you study consistently, but you're doing it wrong. So you can be consistently wrong. All right. And then there are cases, where, you do things right once, but you're terribly inconsistent. So to really illustrate how this works in a very easy way to explain, let me get my hand cam here. Hold on a sec. All right. So do you guys play darts? Have you ever played darts before? Okay, how do I do? Okay. If I were to do a target, all right, and you were to play darts, you would want to aim for the bullseye, right? Bullseye is always the target, right? So good research, well, you don't play darts, but you know the concept, right? Like you just throw the darts to the board and it's supposed to hit the center. Even for archery is the same. You aim for the center. If you go off, you're off. So good research, you want to make sure that it's valid. So what is valid? Where is the point to hit? You want to hit the center. So center is always what you call this valid, and you want to be consistent, meaning to say that every time you do the same research, you find the same results. So that is your reliability. So every time you throw the dart, you hit the bullseye. So this is what you call something that is highly valid and highly reliable at the same time. Now, some people can be very consistent, but they're hitting the wrong spot. So, for example, you have the darts, every time it hits the same place. So you're a very consistent player. But if you hit the edge, is your technique valid? It's not getting the right answer, right? So this is a case where you are very reliable because you're so consistent, but there's no validity at all because it's the wrong place. Like for example, some people consistently, read books, but then they read the wrong books. Or some people consistently, what you call this, exercise, but they're doing the wrong kind of exercise to lose weight, for example. There are many different examples of reliable but not valid. And then sometimes, some people, they just try everything and anything. Okay, for example, okay, today aku hafal, tomorrow I baca, and then third day I discuss. They seem to have a jumble up of every single technique. So sometimes they hit here, sometimes they hit here again, but sometimes they hit here, sometimes they hit here. So these are cases where, there is no reliability because there's no consistency. I mean, every time he changes his methods. But then there are times where he or she is lucky and gets the right thing. So there is validity. All right. For example, some of us are trying to be closer to Allah, right? But we don't know how to reach Him. So maybe one day kita just baca surah non-stop, habis khatam one day. And then tiba-tiba second day, tak baca Quran langsung. And then third day just tahajud je. And then fourth day just duha je, right? So, there's no consistency on ibadah, but it's still bringing you closer to God, right? So it's a valid method. Valid and reliable, you're consistent. You pray 5 times a day and you pray on time. All right. Reliable and not valid. A good way to explain this is like this, all right? You pray 5 times a day, but not at the right time. For example, your subuh is at 9 a.m. and your zuhur is at 5 p.m. Your asar is at 7:15 p.m. So you are very consistent. You pray 5 times a day, but not at the right time. So that is when you are very reliable, but not valid. And then, in the worst case scenario, you don't want a research where, you are not valid and you are not reliable. Meaning to say, you're supposed to hit at least, within the bullseye or within the target, but you hit here and you hit here, or you hit here, or you hit on the other board. That's not reliable and not valid, all right? That's when the research is just too random and, the results aren't really that, what you call this? Not consistent and not correct. All right. So far, do you understand my explanation of reliability and validity using the darts analogy? Wait, was that easy to understand, guys? I hope you guys can understand. Hey, everybody's silent right now. Okay. Because if you guys do understand, I'm going to make the concept a little bit more complex, all right? Now, under validity, you have two types of validity. You have internal validity and external validity. All right? To make it equally confusing, you also have internal reliability and external reliability. So this is where it gets really confusing because in the test, Sometimes people get mixed up between internal and external. And then there are cases you got it correct. It is internal, but no, you got it correct. It is reliability. So is it internal or external? Or you got the internal part correct, but internally, ini internally valid ke internally reliable? So this is where it gets confusing because the names are also very, very, very close. And I'm not sure, you guys are taking statistics this semester, right? Because depending on the lecturer who teaches statistics, she might actually cover this as well in statistics. I'm not sure though if your statistics lecturer actually covered this. Nice illustration. Ah, thank you, Kuching. What's your real name, by the way, Kuching? Because I know I do not teach any cats in class. Okay, so I hope you guys pay attention to this next part. I am willing to repeat because I do realize that this can be a complex but very, very interesting concept, all right? Now, remember back in the very first part of the semester, right? We learned about the characteristics of research, okay? And one of the characteristics of research is that research is generalizable. Okay, Ashikin, oh, you're reading the book, I assume? Yes, there are actually two more types. There's ecological and time. But before I go into that, we cover internal and external first. Because if you get internal and external right, then understanding ecological is very, very, very easy. But if you cannot understand the basic one, which is internal validity and external validity, and then internal reliability and external reliability, if you get mixed up here, and then when we talk about ecological validity or ecological reliability, we talk about time validity, it's going to be terribly confusing. So let's go slow. This is a chapter that I need to go very slow. And chapter 7 is the one chapter you'll be like, alamak, tak habis ke? Because there's a lot to cover. Really a lot to cover, right? Okay, let's talk about internal validity. So I want you to imagine a situation where we do a research, okay? Let's say, okay, I'll type out the research so everybody knows what I'm talking about. Let's say you want to do a research about what's your favorite drink in IIUM? Milo. Let's say Milo, right? So Milo has this tagline, Milo menjadikan Anda sehat dan kuat. So you want to do a research on whether or not Milo makes CFS IIM students healthy and stronger. Green tea? Oh, you guys drink green tea? Seriously? Okay, fine. Let's change to green tea then, or maybe the matcha from he and she coffee, right? The matcha there is good, by the way. I'm not paid, by the way, to say that. Does matcha make CFS IIM students healthy and strong? Wait, oh, wrong screen. Sorry, I have two monitors. Healthier and stronger. Oh, you guys enjoy the matcha there as well. That's nice. Strongly agree. Oh, you strongly agree. So, if we talk about internal validity, okay, this is where you have to really pay attention. The subtle differences between all four of them. Okay, when we talk about internal validity, we talk about how that's the word, how accurate the results are in the original setting. Huh? Which one makes you fat? Is the iced caramel latte or the matcha? Because matcha usually helps to burn fat, actually. But caramel, well, you can't have it every day. All right. But anyway, okay. So we talk about how accurate the results are, okay? So let's say you want to know whether or not matcha makes UIA students healthy and stronger. So, of course, if you want the research to be valid, any experiment or any survey you do to the students has to be about matcha. All right. So let's say, for example, okay, you ask the student how much matcha does he drink, or you give the student maybe like 1 cup of matcha, and then you see how fast he can run. Or for example, you give the student matcha, and then you see whether the student falls asleep in class or not. Those kind of things. So when you're doing the test or your paper or your research, and you are completely on topic, you are being valid, and it is internally valid because you are talking about that original setting, which is CFS IUM students. You are not valid or you are invalid in terms of internal validity if you claim that you're doing research on, whether or not matcha makes your students stronger and healthier, but your test or your experiment or your survey as something else. For example, let's say, right, you want to know whether the students are affected by matcha, but instead in your survey, do you like ice cream? Or you ask, do you like the cafe, he and she? Or do you like the dean? Or do you like Al Khalil building, for example? So the moment you ask unrelated questions, then so let's say for example, right, the student said, yes, I like ice cream. And then you as a researcher said, okay, this student likes ice cream, therefore matcha makes them healthier. There's no relation, right? So the moment you make conclusions that have no relation whatsoever to the original topic, or you're veering off topic, or you're not relating things, or you're just doing something that's completely wrong, that is where it's not valid. So far, do you understand, guys? Any questions? Because I know I can be a bit fast in explaining this part. So far, everybody clear? Hey, where's everybody? Enjoying your dinner or enjoying your matcha right now? Oh, by the way, all the best for your ICT test tomorrow. I hope you guys do your best and I hope you guys get really good marks. Digesting, okay, yeah, because this chapter is quite a lot to digest, and this is just 7.4. A little blur, okay, fine. Maybe if I explain the next part, then it'll make sense, all right? So, we all also learn that research needs to be generalizable. In other words, if let's say you found something in one situation, because remember, research has to be useful, research has to be applicable in other settings, research has to be of benefit to humankind and help people and all that, right? So think about this, okay? Why would you want to do research on matcha? How is this useful? So if let's say you found that URA students became healthier because of matcha, right? In order to test whether or not this is truly true, you will also want to do the research in another university, maybe in University of Malaya, maybe in UITM, maybe in USM or UKM or UPM, or maybe private colleges, for example. You will test it in an outside setting. You'll test it in a different setting, right? And if those results that you found in IIUM has at least some truth or some validity, the results that you found in UIA should also be the same in the other place where you did the research. Can you follow me so far? So let's say you did this research about matcha in IIUM, all right? And you found the results are that matcha makes UIA students stronger and healthier. If it is true that matcha is the one that makes them healthier and stronger, you can then assume that, A, by right, this is also supposed to make students in other universities healthier and stronger. All right? So, if you do the test or the research in another place and you found the same results or similar results, therefore, this research on does matcha make CFS IM students healthier and stronger, this research becomes externally valid. Yes, I'm talking about external validity now. Can you follow me, or did I lose you guys halfway in the matcha or the ice cream or what? I will go very slow with this subchapter because this one is a very critical one and one that often gets tested. Like I think last year there were at least 3 or 4 questions on this alone. It is puzzling and it can be, a little bit confusing. If my English is hard to understand, you want me to simplify further, I will do this because I want you guys to score this.
Because I can tell you off the bat that when the question comes out, it's usually ridiculously confusing, and sometimes we combine both validity and reliability in the same question. Okay, so I'll give you a minute to process and digest the whole thing. Can you process it, or can you get a sample? Oh, okay, that's a good question. Apa Fawas? Let me see if I currently have it. I can tell you though that the questions on what you call this, the questions on reliability and validity has a tendency to be kind of confusing. So let me find a very good question. Hold on. You did not get internal. Mine to repeat? Okay, Nadia. So I will explain to you and everyone while I find the past year question for reliability and validity, because I know that this one normally is one of the few subchapters that everyone's like, wait, what did I just hear or what did I just learn? Okay. Now, first of all, you have to understand what is validity. All right. So validity in Malay is kesahihan, how accurate something is. For example, if let's say I were to do solat, all right, what is the rukun solat? Solat is defined as, dimulakan dengan takbiratul ihram. You must start with takbiratul ihram. You know how to do it. Different mazhab has different hand position, but you start with Allahu Akbar. And you must end your prayer with what? With salam. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Right. So if your prayer does not begin with a takbiratul ihram, that is not a valid prayer. Tak sah. Or for example, if you take ablution, your wudu, all right? What are the four wajib parts? You have to wash your face, you have to wash your hands, a part of the head, and the feet. If you perform wudu without washing the face at all, that is not a valid wudu. So this is how I differentiate between valid and invalid. Now, when we talk about internal validity, it means that in the situation, the original situation that the researcher did, have they found whether the thing is valid or not? So let's say, for example, you want to do a test. Hey, if you eat pineapple in the morning, you become better at the exam. Kononnya lah. Just giving a sample situation, right? So they did this research in URA, and URA students can answer the exams better when they eat pineapple in the morning. So that result is internally valid for URA. But you cannot say it is valid for everyone else because it only applies to URA because the researcher only did his research in URA. All right? So far, can you follow me? Now, externally valid is if that research has been done somewhere else, and in that somewhere else, they found similar or same results. Okay, I'll give you time to process. Speaking of pineapple, I have some pineapple here. That's why I mentioned it. So I need to have some pineapple for dessert. Okay, Zatul, you understand? I hope you do. I'm still looking for the question, by the way, in my laptop here. Okay, quite clear, right? So hold on. I actually made the question last time. So trying to think of a decent question that actually test this, because yeah, this one can be very confusing to even think about mentally actually. But you understand, okay, Alhamdulillah. I trust that you understand for internal. So external, okay, and you're probably asking me, sir, why do you want to do external if internal dah betul? Because remember, good research has to be generalizable. This is the one of the characteristics of research that we learn in chapter 1. So in order for a research to be generalizable, the results that you found has to be somehow relevant and somehow usable and somehow the same in every other setting. That would make your research really, really useful. Let's say, for example, okay, one of you wants to do a research on, let's say, phone addiction, right? Because that's a very important thing. And you found that in URA, students use the phone because they are stressed or they are feeling lonely or homesick. All right, that's a very powerful finding. But you want to test, is it true that this is really the factor for all students? So if you do that same test in another setting, in another university, or maybe even another country, and you found the same results, then you can say your research is generalizable because you found that your research is also externally valid. Did I lose anyone while explaining that? This is a very, very confusing concept at first. But trust me, it's way easier than it sounds, actually. Any questions about that one? I'm always concerned about this chapter. And I do remember when I was a student, even I had trouble understanding it because it's really, really, the terms are so similar. So it's very easy to get mixed up, actually. Okay, Fawaz, you asked a very good example. Okay, ideally, decay. It depends on the type of research. Some research must be both internally and externally valid. All right. But sometimes, depending on the type of research and how the topic is, the thing can only be internally valid, and it is hard or impossible to be externally valid. So, what kind of things cannot be externally valid? If, let's say, that thing is unique or specific to a certain group of people, if that thing is unique or specific to a certain culture. I'll give a very simple example, right? So, for certain races, you cannot eat certain things, right? So, it is well, let's say for example some people cannot eat beef, right, for religious reasons. So that is valid for them, but is it valid for the rest of the world? No. So some things cannot be externally valid. So this is it gets very unique. Or for example, if you want to do research, okay, let's use a research example instead. Let's say you want to do a research on, let's say, motivation, right? And you found that URA students, um, they are motivated every time they hear the azan. This could be valid in IIUM because you come to URA being an Islamic student and you want the Islamic values and Islamic environment. This might not be true for other universities because, first of all, they also have non Muslims and because they also have other goals. So, there are cases where the validity is affected by a lot of other factors. So, there are cases where you can only have internal validity but not external validity. Okay, Izzat, you're lost. Which part? Um, okay, Faiz. So it means that internal is for the current situation or the present situation or the present research. External, yes, general or outside. Because we are referring back to the characteristic of research in chapter 1 that good research is generalizable. Wow, this is a very, very wordy subchapter. And mind you, I'm just talking about internal, external, not yet ecological and time, which are other types of validity. Okay, Izzat, I would love to help you, Izzat. So which part are you lost at? And this is also why I'm doing it online, so that you can replay this part over and over again until you understand, because I know this chapter is one of the tougher ones. But it's also where I would say the subject gets more interesting. Think all. Okay, by the way, Fawas, okay, I already found an exam paper sample. I'm actually going to show it. How do I show this in my current desktop settings? Window capture. I'll probably capture. Where are you, Firefox? All right, let me see. So I'll put this under my webcam. All right. You guys can see this, right? I'll make it bigger for you guys. Oh, I should make it really big lah. So this was a sample from last time. Now look at how the question is asked. Okay, so Professor Norcia gave an exam on Monday. On Wednesday, she gave the class the same exam. So Professor Norcia was assessing the, what is it? Is it the reliability or validity or ecological validity or internal validity? This is how the questions are done. We want to see whether you truly understand the difference between all the concepts. Oh yeah, and you notice we start off the paper with these questions, which is also why I'm starting off this online class with this chapter, because this is a really important one actually. Yeah, I'll give you time to process the questions while you look at the sample questions. Okay, yeah, Nasia, what do you mean by ability? What are you asking me there? Oh my god, this is not an ASMR video, by the way. This is not ASMR. Oh, Nasiha, are you answering question one or question two, by the way? I think you're answering one of the questions. I think. Okay, the answer for number one is the reliability. Why? Because you want to check how consistent the exam can be. So you give it on a different day, you see, do you still get similar results or not? But I haven't talked about reliability yet, actually. I talked about validity just now. So the answer for number one is reliability. Whereas number two, Abu intends to study happiness, all right? And in his survey, he talks about food. So he is not valid because, the study is about happiness. Apa kaitan food dengan happiness kan? I mean, yeah, they are related somehow, but talking about what foods is served and not making the connection, that's not valid. That's about something else altogether. Okay? So this is how the questions can be like. And also, once you understand this whole thing, it really makes you understand articles differently, because then you can say, hey, this article, this research they've done, there is some problem in the validity of the research, or there's some problem in the reliability of their research, and so on and so forth. All right. Okay, am I losing you guys, or are you clear of this so far? I do realize that this is a tough chapter, but I will help you as much as possible, right? Okay, if there's nothing else, I'm going to move on to question two. Oh, question two, the answer is validity. Because you're doing a research about happiness, but what he did was a research on food. So, how can you connect that? Unless your research is about the connection between food and happiness, then that's a different case, all right? Okay, so I've talked about internal and external. I will not talk about ecological and time yet. Those are more, crazier stuff. Let's talk about reliability, okay? Now, reliability is about how consistent you are. Now, you have to be very careful here, yeah? Consistency, while in general consistency is good, sometimes you can be consistently doing the wrong thing. For example, there are some people who like to consistently disturb their friends in class. So they are reliably disturbing people. They're reliable in that part. You know, they will always disturb someone. All right. And that's why, when you say, hey, I have a reliable friend. Why do you say someone is reliable? Because he always does the right thing all the time. That's why, our Prophet ﷺ was called Al Amin, because he's a very reliable person. He never fails to, keep his amanah and all that, all right? That's reliability, basically. But then again, it's possible to be reliable, but reliably bad. So, internal reliability, okay, what does it mean? It means when you do your survey or when you do your experiment, you are consistent. So let's say you do a research on, let's say, the matcha topic again, right? Let's do the whole matcha thing. So matcha, does it make you healthier and stronger? So if you are reliable in your research, let's say you got 10 participants for your research, and then each of the participant were given 3 cups of matcha a day. 3 cups, and each cup is around maybe 150 milliliters. You give the same amount to everybody. That is very reliable because everybody is given the same thing consistently at the same time, the same portion. But let's say, for example, one person you give 100 milliliter, one person maybe 150, one person 200, one person one bottle of matcha. Even though they all get matcha, but because of the difference of treatment, there is a problem in reliability. Do you get me there? But it is not completely unreliable. It's just, lacking in reliability. But it is completely unreliable if, let's say, for example, you have 10 people. First person you give matcha, second person you give caramel latte, third person you give Milo. Like, what the heck? You're testing about matcha. Why are you doing all these other things? So that is unreliable. All right. So when you talk about it in one setting, for example, IIUM, we are talking about internal reliability. External reliability, so let's say, for example, all right, in UIA, the experiment that you did is that you gave everybody 3 cups, and each cup has 150 milliliters of matcha. All right, you give 3 cups and 150 milliliters. So if you were to do the research somewhere else in UM, or you want to do it in UITM, for example, you have to give the same amount. You have to give 3 cups, and each cup has to be 150 milliliters. Because if it's done differently in a different setting, it's not reliable. All right. So far, any questions? Whew, that is quite a mouthful. I'll give you time to process this. I do realize that this is a very, very wordy chapter. I've seen that a lot actually. Okay, any questions, guys? Izatul, you got it? Ooh. Can anybody give me an example of Yes, Fawaz. Reliability is, I would say, slightly easier to understand than validity to a certain extent. But there are cases where it's easy to mix it up with validity. Okay, if you guys understand internal and external, I'm going to add 2 more. So I hope I'm not too fast, okay? Oh, sorry, I have 2 monitors. I get confused. Okay, I'm gonna add ecological validity, and then we have ecological reliability. And then the fourth one, which there's an error in the book, by the way. There's actually another type of reliability and validity called time validity. And also you have
time reliability. So basically, there are four types of each, and the slightly tricky part is that for the four types, all of them have the same names for the types. So it gets a little bit what you call this, easy to mix up. Okay, I'm gonna get smaller for you guys. All right. So are you guys ready? Can I talk about ecological and time, or do you still need time to process that? Yes, Izatul. That's a very, very good way to actually put it. The setting, where is it? Is it the current setting or is it the generalized setting? Very good. Because if you read any revision book on this subject, they will often use the word setting actually. So can I move on to ecological and time or okay. Now, ecological is a very interesting one, all right? Now, ecological is about the situation. So, when it comes to research, situation can affect things. Okay, how do I say this, right? Now, in my class, you guys tend to be very happy go lucky. You're laughing around, you're making jokes, you're usiking each other, and stuff like that, right? That's how you guys act in my class. Do you guys act the same in other classes? Maybe yes, maybe no, right? So you do realize that the situation, for example, like how the person is, or maybe the condition of the classroom, or maybe your stress levels, or maybe which floor the class is at, that can affect validity. All right. And to illustrate this, all right, so all of you have a certain behavior in my class, and I would categorize you guys as being very very crazy and very very hoo ha and all that. It's a compliment, by the way. But then let's say while I'm teaching, suddenly the dean enters your class, all right, and he just wants to see how our class is going on. Will you still be hoo ha and crazy and kachawing each other, or will you suddenly change your behavior? How will things be like? Guys, where are you? Why not? Why won't you be the same? I mean, it's just the dean, guys. I mean, oh, so with me boleh boleh gila-gila. With the dean tak boleh. Why? Double standard? Or how about this, okay? I believe in your mahala, you did it. Oh my god. Scary vibes. Oh, so with me you don't have to behave? Is that how it is? Okay, so you notice, right? The situation changes things. Or, for example, with me, you're crazy in normal class. But during the test the other day, during the quiz, even though I was there in the exam hall, could you be as crazy as you were in class or not? Or did you have a slightly different behavior? Probably different because there were other lecturers as well, they have other classes, and of course, the venue and the situation also changed the way you act. Or let's say in your mahala, right now in your mahala you have a certain behavior, right? You're probably, maybe the guys are just wearing the kind pelikat and the girls are wearing, I don't know what girls wear in the mahala. I've never been to a female mahala ever.
And you're probably really crazy, screaming here and there, or putting your MP3 or your audio or speakers on full blast, full volume, your latest K-pop song, BTS or whatever, and you're dancing and then turning on and off the lights like a crazy guy and all that, right? I mean, come on, these are the stuff that students do in a mahala. All of you do this, right? And then suddenly the fellow enters your room. What do you do? Do you carry on, or do you hide everything, or what do you do? Maju Kelawar. I don't know. I've never been to a female mahala. So when the fellow ajak dia join, oh my god. Seriously? So probably you will also, change your behavior. There will be a change. Situation changes things. So the validity can be affected by the situation. So let me give an example, right? Let's say, a researcher wants to do a study on whether or not UIA students, what you call this, dislike their lecturers. All right. Okay, now listen to this very carefully, right? So a researcher wants to do a study on whether or not UIA students dislike their lecturers, tak suka lecturer dia. And then the one doing the research is the lecturer himself. Do you think that that will affect the way they answer? Do you think they will tell the truth, or do you think they'll be like, alamak, aku yang tanya ni kita, jawab je lah. Which one will you do? Will you be truthful or will you be dishonest? Right, the ecological situation changes things. So when you have a certain relationship with the researcher, or you feel like you want to impress the person, it changes the way you do things. But let's say the one doing the research is your friend from your ITM, for example. You'll be super duper honest, I think, right? So situation can affect validity. So this is ecological validity. Do you understand, guys? Quite simple, right? Yeah, of course, if the lecturer doesn't ask for personal details, you will be quite truthful. But let's say if he knows your answer exactly, of course, you might be scared to answer. And that fear can actually affect the way you answer. All right. Which is why some research, this is a very fancy term. We have a type of research called naturalistic research or naturalistic observation. So naturalistic research is where what you call this? You know, you be natural. You don't really intrude. You just, not to say stalk, but that's kind of how it is. Like you see how people are like in their natural setting, their natural situation. That would have the highest ecological validity. But then there are, of course, ethical concerns. Are you actually stalking people, or are you actually doing research on them, right? Whereas if you are there and in control, it might affect the ecological validity, but you have more power and more control over the research. So getting maximum ecological validity is not exactly easy, all right? Do I have a question? Yeah, I actually have the questions. What the heck is that? Sorry, that's my camera. It's being, what's this? Oh, this is my table. I'll show you this. Not this screen. Where's the screen? Holy crap! Crap is not holy. Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? Oh, hold on. Let me hide this. Hey, not hide this. Sorry. Ah, there you go. All right. So yeah, the question is going to be like this, okay? We're going to give you a situation and you have to figure out which one are we talking about in the question. Is it reliability, is it validity, or is it a mix of both? There are questions last time where we even mix two things in one question. Of course, crap is not holy. You don't worship crap. Hold on. Okay, this is actually private and confidential. I shouldn't be showing that. Let me actually find other questions for you guys. This one is a very nice one. Hold on. I just want a good example here. All right. Look at the first two questions. I know you're going to be like, holy moly, all right? So, when you are worried about whether you will get the same results if you repeat your experiment again in the future, you are worried about A, internal validity, B, external validity, C, reliability, and D, ecological validity. So do you notice that? That's a very, very tricky question, right? Try answering it, guys. It's not, I already taught you those four concepts. How would you answer that question? Yeah, it's reliability because you're talking about how similar things are. The consistency, very good. You guys understood. I feel, yeah, it's reliability. The answer is reliability. Okay. Now try number two. Number two is and this is where we start mixing validity and reliability in the same question. So number two, a weighing scale, the timbang berat tu, that consistently tells Susie that she is 115 pounds, 5 pounds lighter than she really is, every time she stands on the scale is dot dot dot, but not dot dot dot. So it's giving the wrong reading, but it is very consistently wrong. So what's the answer for number two? Just waiting for your answers. This is getting interesting. Yeah, you notice. So the weighing scale is reliable, but it is not valid. So the answer is D. It's easy to think it's B, but read properly. If you say the answer is B, you're saying it is not valid and also not reliable. Read very carefully the question. The question in this particular semester is very, very, if you realize there's a twist in the question that makes B incorrect, if you read very carefully. This is a very tricky question, I have to say, over here. This question there. Kan pawas. That's why I'm going to say this. This chapter is not exactly difficult, but the trickiness and the precision needed to understand it and get the right answer can be very high. And as shown in the question, we can even mix up two different things in one question. I'm still looking for this one question where they combine internal, external in the same question for both reliability and validity. And yes, Afifa, the answer is D for number two. So you notice the difficulty of the question? And this is what your next test will be like. And mind you, we begin with a bang. So that's why I want to cover this one first, because this one is like, you know, the important part of the syllabus. All right, so I believe most of you guys understand the whole ecological part and the questions. Um, MCQ or not? For the second quiz, probably there are some MCQ, but not everything MCQ this time for the second quiz. Yeah, Enizato, yes, the subject is starting to get more interesting from chapter 6 and 7 onwards. Chapter 4 and 5 are just like, there's like, tips and ways to do things, which are, like, you just need practice and exercises for that. But chapter 7, when you come back to the theory, bam. Okay, more. Oh, I like this. I like it when I'm discussing questions with you guys. It's very easy then. What else do I have here? Mm, I'm looking for a question. There was one semester where the question mixed up reliability and validity and internal and external all in the same question. That was really, how to say, like bam. Yeah, I use bam a lot actually. Hold on, where is that question? Yeah, Kuching Chomel doesn't seem to be revealing his or herself. What, you guys are repeating my bam now? What the heck, man? Like, you never heard someone say bam before? That class lain? Oh, which class? Come on, reveal yourself. But thanks for joining. I mean, yeah, it's you will find that I don't mind sharing information with anybody, and no, I'm not leaking anything. I don't leak over my dead body, by the way, over my dead body. Even if I die, my soul will protect the questions to the very end. Yeah, whatever. Uh, where are the questions? There are so many questions that I have edited over my career. Exam, blah blah blah. Yeah, if I cannot find it in 1 minute, I'll probably share it in the next class. But as you can tell, this is a very, very, what you call this? It can be a tricky chapter. And normally, this is the one part where students always get confused. Okay, not here. No, not this one. This is no, no. This is correlation. Correlation is the next subchapter. Is it this one? Or is it in my other laptop? Okay, I can't find more questions right now at the moment, I think. Or maybe I should open one more folder. Kucing comel, meow, meow, meow. Or I should say woof, woof. Okay, never mind. Okay, now let's talk about time validity. Okay, wait, I haven't talked about ecological reliability yet. Sorry about that. Okay, let's talk about ecological reliability. Okay, what is ecological reliability? Now, if let's say when you did your study in the first situation, okay, let's say, for example, UIA students, when you interviewed them, they were also interviewed by people of the same age or interviewed by, people who are not their lecturers. They were interviewed in a stress-free situation. When you do the research in another place, you have to have a similar situation. It cannot be their lecturer, it has to be stress-free. In other words, you want to make sure that in the external kawaii neko, oh my god, we start to have all the anime stuff here. So when you do it in a different setting, you want to make sure that the situation is similar or the same. Because, if in UIA you have, what you call this? You have students doing the research, but let's say in UITM you have lecturers doing the research, you might get different results. So the research is not exactly ecologically reliable. Do you follow me? Then again, that's quite simple actually. It's basically the location factor. Oh, no, 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 sorry. It's the situation factor. All right. Now, the last type of validity is time validity. So what is time validity? Some things, okay, one more time. Okay, Fawaz, okay, thank you. I'll repeat it, okay. So ecological reliability, no problem. My job is to explain and repeat. I mean, that's why I took up this job anyway. So loading, okay. So ecological reliability, meaning to say, so when you do the research in a different setting, right, you want to make sure that the situation is either similar or the same, because we know that different situations will affect the respondents or the participants differently. All right. For example, if you have person A is answering the survey in an air-conditioned room. Person B tengah padang tengah panas. Of course, he's going to give a different answer because he's feeling hot and he's sweating and all that, right? Somebody who's comfortable can have all the time. They can relax. They have no pressure. So you want to make sure that everybody gets the same situation. All right. So that's about ecological reliability. Wow, that's quite a mouthful. Okay, now time validity. So, what is time validity? So, time validity is basically when certain things are only valid at certain times. For example, solat. So, right now, this particular time of the day, if we were to do Isha prayers, all right, let's say if you haven't done your Isha prayers yet, and if I were to do Isha prayer now, is it valid? Let's say I haven't done Isha prayer, for example, and I were to do Isha prayer now, is it valid? It will be valid because this is the time for Isha, and the time for Isha is from around 8:30 ish just now until around maybe 3 or 4 a.m., right? But what if I were to do Isha prayers tomorrow at 9 a.m.? That is not the right time for Isha. So it lacks the time validity. So for us Muslims, it's very easy to understand time validity because a lot of our ibadah is time based. For example, let's say if I say, okay, tomorrow I want to puasa Ramadan. It's like, huh? Kau ni apa hal? Like, it's not even Ramadan yet. So if you want to do puasa wajib tomorrow, I mean, it's not valid because it's not Ramadan yet. It requires a certain time. But let's say during Ramadan you fast, it's definitely valid. And you're talking about time validity there. Likewise, let's say, for example, all right, you want to study for your exam, all right, and you're studying around this week or next week or in the next few weeks, what you're doing is valid for the time because you're studying this semester. But let's say you are studying writing skills maybe in June. The semester is over, baru nak study. That's not valid anymore. All right. See how it works? This is time validity. So certain things need to be done at certain times. So they are only valid at certain times. All right. It's a very easy one to explain actually. Whereas time reliability, right? So we also recognize in research that time can influence things because certain things only happen at certain times. So if you did your research at a certain time of the day in one setting, the next setting or the next participant should also be done at around the same time because time affects our tiredness or certain things happen at certain times. For example, if you study the human eye, so the way the pupils dilate, the way it opens up to allow light to come in, the size of the iris changes depending on how dark it is and what time of the day it is. And this is most noticeable in cats. Cats, when it's daylight, it will be like very like a line-like punya mata. But when it's nighttime, it becomes very bulat. You might notice this in cats. So there you go. That's the time reliability. Phew, I finished. Well, it's almost 2 hours actually. So we practically really did replace the 2 hours, alhamdulillah. So, guys, do you understand validity and reliability? And notice this: chapter 7 is actually a long chapter. Mind you, I just covered one subchapter and I needed 2 hours. I needed almost 2 hours just to cover one subchapter. Chapter 7 is like the really long one, and also chapter 8 and 9. Understood? So if I ask you guys to give an example, can you give me an example? Okay, Izzat, don't worry. Even when I first studied this, I think I took almost 2 weeks to really understand it and get it. Because, they're so similar to each other, so it's very easy to get confused. So this is where the subject gets, different from the previous part, mostly understood. Yeah, and when the semester resumes, I probably might talk about this again because I do realize that this is one of the few chapters that needs a lot of repetition. All right, so thanks for joining the class tonight. I'm not ending it yet, by the way. Not yet, not yet. Hold on, hold on. So this is chapter 7. So things are starting to get different, interesting. But yeah, in the question as far as I agree with you, I have to say, whenever this is tested in the exam, the questions will and can, and actually they are always tricky. So this is where it gets really, really fun. To be honest, I like this chapter. This chapter onwards is where the fun begins. Because it really exercises everything you learn. And imagine later on when you read an article, let's say I ask you, okay, this research done by this researcher in his article, what can you tell me about the validity of his research? That's where reading articles suddenly become like, wow. It changes the way you read articles. And that's the skill you need for the remainder of the semester. Like so far, I taught you guys to extract points from articles, find sentences. Now you're going to start commenting and analyzing things. And you're starting off through what you call this validity and reliability. All right. All right. Any questions about your article review, by the way? How is it going so far? So you guys have quite a long deadline for this one. If anybody has a problem with the article, or you need to ask about the direction of the assignment or anything, please do let me know. Oh wow. Didn't move yet? Oh my god. I hope you guys have some progress, and I hope that progress is not like just downloaded the article but haven't read yet. I actually just got a message like a couple of minutes ago. People were asking me about articles, whether the article is usable or not. Yes, I understand because you guys have quizzes, right? You guys have a counting quiz and you guys have ICT quiz. Those are important quizzes, and I wouldn't want to disturb those quizzes. Which is why when I give that, no, don't be sorry. This is university, I mean, I try to make sure that my deadlines and my task doesn't really kacau everything else. No, 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 don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. All right. And of course, don't be afraid to ask the librarians for help. Wait, hold on. You guys are 910. I think you guys got the session with the lady, Madam Saha, right? Okay, when you go to the library has two different staff. You have the library assistants and you have the librarians. So the library assistants, all they do is just arrange stuff and just juggle the place. But the librarians are the ones in charge of the system. So let's say, for example, you have trouble searching for a journal or a book for anything for your assignment, for example. Go to the counter and ask for the librarian, and the librarian would be more than happy to help you because I've been talking to them and they said that they really need to help students, but that's actually part of their job scope to help students, search for stuff. But nobody knows that they can actually ask them. So please, please, please ask them. And guys, you guys are always in my prayers. I always pray for all my students to do well and to be better Muslims and to be better people in general. So I pray for the best for you guys. But always remember what I say, that if you don't do well in your exam or whatever, I know this is very hard to accept for some people, but marks are dunyawi, because marks don't really define people. Yes, grades are important, but there are many cases where, people can get really high CGPA, but it doesn't reflect their actual intelligence or their actual attitude, all right? What is that? Librarian, human Google emotion. Yes, yes, exactly. And believe me, the librarian who gave the briefing to you guys previously, Madam Sahariza, she is more than willing to actually help you guys to do the search and help you with your search for articles. She can really, really, really help you. Just ask. Seriously, she will really, really help you. And I hope you guys had fun. Sorry I couldn't make it for class today because my leg really hurts. I don't really want to actually talk about my leg that often because I know I don't want to get sympathy. I mean, that's not who I am. But yeah, I just need to recover. Okay, what chapter will be for quiz 2? Okay, quiz 2 will test you guys on chapters 4 until 6 plus what was covered in the library session. All right. So you have technically 3.5 chapters there. All right. So you have the whole sentences part, and then you have the entire, or the part that I asked you guys to read up and present later on after the break. And then you have APA. Now that will be quiz 2. So what I'm teaching right now is actually for the one after that, the test. Okay, thank you guys. And by the way, for all of you, if you guys are having any fever or any problems, always take a break and take care of yourself. And if you need professional help, please get professional help. Okay, in IUM, we might not have it in Gambang campus, but we do have a qualified psychiatrist in Kuantan campus, and you can actually get help from them, get transferred over there. If you need any help, please see the right person. They can help you recover and be back in order. Right? And of course, with the COVID-19 thing getting, spreading more, let's not spread panic, but let's, take whatever steps we can do to, be better. So, drink enough water, wash your hands, be clean, and then if you have any signs of having a fever or cough, don't mix with too many people, basically. And for these holidays, stay home. Seriously, that'll be good for you. All right. I know, right? COVID-19 is really, really a worrying issue. I hope, let's pray for the best. Let's hope that the right people take the right action regarding it. Let's hope that people take it seriously, and let's hope that people do not spread misinformation about it. There's a lot of things going on about it, and let's hope that people deal with it properly if anybody's infected or if anybody's suspected of yeah. Seriously, the hot weather can avoid it? I'm not so sure because Saudi Arabia, the place where Umrah is done, Mecca, that's hot, and COVID-19 happened in Mecca. So yeah, there you go. So heat doesn't seem to kill it. I mean, it happened in very hot places as well. All right. Yeah, Italy. That's partly, because of how the people are culturally and how they gather and all that. Okay. Anyway, guys, so if there are no more questions, you can still ask questions you want here on the group, by the way. So yeah, the numbers are increasing, right? Okay, so if you have no more questions, if you have more questions, you can feel free to ask either here on the group. And tomorrow, I am actually doing more of these classes. So in case you feel like you need a refresher, for instance, You can join my online session tomorrow morning and tomorrow evening. Yeah, I'm replacing my classes online as well. And yeah, the management is actually okay with me doing this. They actually have the approval of URA to do online classes, so don't worry. And it's easy because I can record your attendance. I have evidence of your participation, and I'm spending time doing this live, so I'm not lying about it. All right. So if there's nothing else, all the best to you guys. Thank you for your time and thank you for watching. And maybe a bit of self promotion. I have a lot of videos on my channel. You can check it out if you want. I'm not doing any live gaming stuff today or tomorrow. I need to just rest and focus on classes and work. I might do the gaming stuff maybe on Saturday or Sunday. No, not right after this. I need to sleep. I need to sleep. Okay. All right. So it's been a great 2 hours, guys. Thank you for your time. And I've been Nazrek. So see you guys. Assalamualaikum. Good night, everybody.